Sarah, can you give listeners any clues as to what they're likely to face at the assessment centre, and also how they can stand out and perform well?
Of course, yeah. So for the larger firms, the assessment centre will last the best part of a day, and it will include a number of different activities. You might have an interview with partners or HR, or perhaps a blend of both. You might have a speed networking exercise, a group exercise, which could take many forms, a presentation, an in-tray exercise, written tests. You might have a networking lunch, and you might have a tour of the office. I'll just give you a word of warning with regards to the networking lunch and tour of the office. You'll probably meet the current trainees at this stage, and whilst they'll be similar to you in age and you'll probably have a nice chat to them as you walk around the office, they will be reporting directly back to the partners as to what they make of you afterwards. So remain professional and don't let your guard down.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You're always on, even the the informal bits where you think I'm not being assessed. You're always assessed from the minute you walk in the door to
are. Yeah, so don't
getting
let
on the
your
tube
guard
round the
down.
corner.
Yeah, exactly.
So be careful with the language you're using. Stay positive, stay excited, but just be aware that you are, you're always being assessed.
Yeah. In terms of tips for performing well at the assessment centre, I think the two main ones is good body language is absolutely key, and it's something that lots of people fail to take account of. It makes such a difference if you smile when you enter a room. I mean, don't look totally manic, but a nice smile. People really warm to you, and they'll engage with you more if you smile at them. And if you have more than one interviewer, one of them asks you a question, look at both of them when you respond. Don't just focus your attention on one, because I can guarantee that the other one will notice and will feel like they're not engaging with you at all and probably won't warm to you. So good body language is really key. Sit up straight in your chair, et cetera, et cetera. Secondly, you really need to know your application form inside out, and I've been caught out with this myself before. Your interviewer is going to ask you questions based on your form. So before you go in there, prepare questions you think they might ask you, and even prepare answers to these questions. I remember being asked about transliterating brand names and IP law in my interview for this Silver Circle firm a while ago. And could I remember anything at all about the article I'd written on that 2 years ago? Absolutely not. No, I could not. I remembered nothing. I didn't even remember what the word transliterating meant. So that was an awkward 5 minutes. And I would suggest just brushing up. If you say you've written something, just brush up on it before you go reread it, so that you've got something that you can talk about. Because the interviewer will want to talk about different things with different people. They're not going to ask every single person the same thing. So try and preempt that a little bit. And if I could just... Sorry, James.
Sorry, Sarah, go on.
If I could just touch on the group exercise quickly, that would be really good, because that's where I can really help you guys to get some points and an edge over the competition without even knowing what exercise you'll be given on the day. So if we take as a starting point the fact in a group exercise there are certain qualities you're going to have to demonstrate. So that will be communication skills, and that includes listening as well as talking, which most people don't take account of, time management, motivation and enthusiasm, and leadership skills. So just bear these in mind throughout the exercise. And if we just take time management as an example, say you've been given 20 minutes to come up with an idea and 15 minutes have gone by, you can show that you've got good time management by reminding everybody you only have 5 minutes left. And it's such an easy brownie point. And you can bet that, whoever, Karen Brady with a clipboard in the corner, is going to notice that, and she's going to write that down. It'll be a nice big tick against your name. Or take teamwork. Be aware of who is and who isn't participating. Ask the shy guy in the corner what his views are on a particular point. And if he says something totally ridiculous, then he says something totally ridiculous. And don't poo-poo it, but just be encouraging. Because, again, Karen Brady is going to be looking at how you interact with others. And let's face it, nobody will want to share an office with someone who always has to shout the loudest, because if you adopt that persona in a group exercise, you're just going to come across as somebody who can't listen and is difficult to train. So you can get ahead.
Yeah, they're brilliant examples there. And I know when I've been assessing in group exercise, it's always funny at the beginning when they kick off, and because people almost, they have in their head that they're going to be the timekeeper. So you get several people who volunteer to, I'll keep time, and then just sort of forget that they've taken this role.
Absolutely,
so so if you're gonna volunteer to be the timekeeper, which is a good thing to do if you follow Sarah's advice, make sure you do it. Don't get to the end and then suddenly think, oh shit, I've forgotten I was meant to be keeping time. It doesn't hold you in good stead.
No, absolutely.
And how about some advice for the partner interview, Sarah? How can you stand out when you get in front of the partner?
I think that with that interview, it's the only time in the whole assessment day where it's just you and you're not having to worry about what someone else is doing. It's just you and them. So feel free to inject a bit of personality into it. Don't be, or try not to be really nervous. Don't be just try and be yourself at that point in the interview, because it's the only time that you're going to have where it's just you and them, and as I say, you don't have to think about what someone else is doing.
Yep, no, that's a really good point. And at the end of the day, these partners might be senior, they might have been there a few years, but they're still people. They still want it to be interesting. So if you can, Sarah said, if you can bring your personality in, if you can walk in there with a smile, and you can make it enjoyable for them, then it's more likely to go well for you than if it's a really painful half an hour for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
We've all been in interviews like that.
Yeah, so, don't be afraid to be yourself.
Yep. So Sarah, any final advice that you want to touch upon that we've not mentioned so far for the application process as a whole that you think listeners would benefit from?
You know what, I think that we've touched on most things, but I would just say that if you keep getting rejections from training contract applications, you've just got to try and stay positive, because you will get one. It's just how much time, effort you're willing to put into it, and how much free time that you're willing to sacrifice. So if this is something that you really want, maybe, and you're not succeeding in it because perhaps you're applying to lots of American firms and you've got 3 Bs at A-level or whatever, just take a step back from it and see if there's anything that you can do to give yourself a bit more of a chance. For example, if it's doing more research, making your applications less general, or whether it's applying to a different category of law firm where you have more chance of getting a training contract. You might be better off going to a national firm or a regional firm. But don't give up. If it's something that you're really passionate about, don't give up. It's difficult, but stay positive and you'll be fine.
That's brilliant advice for us to finish the first part of the interview on there, Sarah. I mean, as you mentioned, it took you a couple of years, and it's never, you're never failing if you don't give up. If you keep going, then you'll get there in the end.
No, agreed.